Good morning, colleagues. We've got a lot to discuss.
Since the pandemic, the cost of health and disability benefits has gone up by £20 billion. And left unchecked, by the end of this Parliament, it will be another £20 billion a year on sickness and disability benefits.
And one of the other things you said to me into this committee on the 6th of November is that you wouldn't be coming back for any more tax increases. Can you confirm to the committee today that you won't be raising taxes?
There's a lot of questions to...
answer the last one first, perhaps.
I said in the
We're
budget...
going to do things differently. We're going to tell the truth, even when they are hard truths.
In a packed chamber heavy with tension, where scripted spin usually drowns out truth, something different happened. Something raw, something real. This wasn't just a policy debate. This was a political inquisition, and Rachel Reeves held the torch. Armed with facts, fueled by frustration, and unwavering in her line of questioning, Reeves tore through the government's welfare narrative like a prosecutor in court. No sound bites, no softballs, just brutal, precision grilling. At the heart of it, a government ready to strip 800,000 people of their lifeline, personal independence payments, while hiding behind vague promises of support and reform. But here's the twist: many of these people already are working. Others are disabled, vulnerable, unable to return to employment. And yet, the government's answer, cut now, justify later. Reeves doesn't flinch. She forces the Chancellor to answer. How many will be thrown into poverty? How many will actually be helped back into work? And who, exactly, is being sacrificed in the name of savings? If you've been looking for the rare moment when power is actually held to account, this is it. Brace yourself. What you're about to witness is one of the most forensic, relentless interrogations seen in Parliament this year. Hit that like button, subscribe if you believe in truth over spin, and let's dive into this explosive session. Because when a government gambles with the lives of its most vulnerable, it's not just policy. It's a betrayal. And in this story, we don't stand with politicians. We stand with the people.
They seem to sort of come to the conclusion that the welfare reforms were driven by a desire to balance the books more than get people into work. Now, I know that's not what the government's view is, that it is about getting people into work. But their view was that while they accept there's issues with the welfare state that needs reform, and that there will be plenty of people that do need that help to get into work, they don't think it's anything like the numbers of people that stand to lose out from these reforms. So just would first of all, Chancellor, like to get your response to that.
So I don't think anyone thinks that the current system of welfare, and particularly around sickness and disability benefits, is actually working today. Not working for the people in receipt of those benefits, not working in terms of ensuring we've got a decent participation rate in the economy, and not working in terms of delivering value for money for taxpayers. 1 in 10 people now on sickness and disability benefits. We've got 1 in 8 young people not in education, employment or training. We've got 1,000 people every day going on to personal independence payments. We're one of the few countries that has a lower participation rate in the labour market than we did before the pandemic. And I guess I sort of have 3 basic principles when it comes to welfare. First of all, there must always be support for those who most need it. The welfare state must always be there for them. Second, we need a welfare system that incentivises and encourages everybody who can work to work. And third, we need a system that is sustainable for the long term. And at the moment, I don't think that the welfare state does any of those 3 things well enough, which is why we are reforming it to make it work for all of those people, but particularly with a focus on helping people back to work, which is why we've announced I think possibly the biggest ever package of measures to help people back into work with guaranteed, personalised and tailored support for them.
So I think there is consensus on that. Change does need to happen. But I guess it's the timing and the scale that people are questioning. You commissioned Sir Charlie Mayfield to do a review into this. The spring statement measures come ahead of that. So that feels, I'm sure you'll come to address that. And also the main driver of the saving seems to be restricting eligibility for PIP. personal independence payments. Now, 800,000 people could be set to lose out from that. Around a third of all PIP claimants are in work anyway, but presumably if you're going to be tightening eligibility for PIP, that's going to target the sorts of people that are more ready for work already. So it doesn't seem like there's a huge proportion of people that are going to get back into work as a result of that measure. So could you explain that for us, please?
Yeah, first of all, the work that Charlie Mayfield's doing, really important work, is about helping keep people in the labour market rather than supporting people who are not in the labour market. So they're sort of a bit different, but Charlie Mayfield's doing a really important piece of work for us, and we do know that the best thing we can do is to help people stay in work, because once they drop out, it is much harder to get people back into work, which is why I've asked Charlie to do that piece of work for us. You're right that the reforms around PIP are around the eligibility, so you'll need to get a minimum of 4 points in one category to get onto personal independence payments. Since the pandemic, the cost of health and disability benefits has gone up by £20 billion. And left unchecked, by the end of this Parliament, it will be another £20 billion a year on sickness and disability benefits. The changes we're making will still see the amount spent on these benefits rise substantially by £16 billion, so a little bit less than the rise that's already in
the
place.
stated purpose of reforms is to get more people back into work.
Yeah.
Many PIP claimants are already in work, and others probably are unable to work permanently. So of the 800,000 that look like they're set to lose out on PIP claimants going forward, saved by the bell. Can I complete the question? Yeah, so the 800,000 that are set to lose out, what proportion of those would you expect to get back into work?
Thank you very much, Chair, and thank you for your question. So we think about 17% of people who are on personal independence payments are also in work. I can't tell you what proportion of the 800,000 you referred to are in work. And indeed, the OBR have committed to work over the summer to look at the package that we announced, the £1 billion to help people get back into work, to make estimates of those numbers. And of course, if people get back into work, that boosts their incomes and their families' incomes.
I believe there was some analysis done of the people that were passing the assessment criteria, how close they were and so on. So would that also give you an indication of what percentage of people that are on PIP that would never really be realistically able to be back into work? Do you have a figure for that as well?
Well, the point of our reforms is that we want to support those people with the most severe health and disability needs, which is why in the Green Paper that we published alongside the Secretary of State's statement, we're consulting on additional support for those with the most severe needs. We also want to ensure, because the changes only kick in when you have your PIP reassessment, so nothing changes straight away, it's only when you have your reassessment. But when those reassessments happen, we want those reassessments to be done much more face-to-face. Before the pandemic, 7 in 10 people who had a PIP assessment had a face-to-face assessment. It's now less than 1 in 10. And as a result, we don't think that those assessments are really picking up people's needs or assessing the points in a way that I think would be more appropriate. So when those people come up to their reassessments, we want them to be seen face-to-face by a trained assessor to make sure that they get the support they need, whether that is support in terms of benefits or support in terms of getting into work.
So are you quite confident then that everybody that ends up dropping out of the eligibility criteria has the potential to work and that you'll be able to get them into work?
We know there are hundreds of thousands of people with a disability who want to work, and there are many people with disabilities who already do work, and we want to give them more support, whether that's adjustments in the workplace, whether it is training, for more of them to fulfil their potential. I don't want to write people off, and I think that has happened for too long for too many people, whether it's mental or physical health or disabilities that they have. And so the idea of this tailored package is to give people the support they need to fulfil their potential.
Yeah, so just finally then, we're going to have some more work done on this by the OBR over the summer to assess this. Is it your view then that it will become much clearer by the autumn when we get the next forecast about how many families may end up in poverty as a result of this and how many people will be getting back into work? Will we have figures at that point?
Yeah, I mean, this is not the only thing we're doing as well, remember. We're beginning to roll out the free breakfast clubs.
But will we have those figures in the autumn?
Well, yes, that's what they're going to provide. But this is not the only thing we are doing. This £1 billion back to work package is just one of a number of measures we're doing to help people into work. The conversation we've already had around apprenticeships, the increase in the national minimum wage, the national living wage, the employment rights bill. This is all about ensuring that work pays and people are supported into work.
So how can you be so sure that these reforms are going to work, and to the extent that it's being proposed by your government? Because the economists yesterday were very firm that they think this may work at the margins, that it's necessary work, but the impact on people is still going to be very severe. So how can you have such confidence in this going to work versus past reforms?
Well, I'm absolutely confident that the system we inherited is not working. And it has to be reformed, and I think everybody agrees that the current system is not working. There is plenty of evidence from past programmes that we can do more to support people into work. You look at the international evidence, you do not see increases of number of people on sickness and disability benefits. There's something badly going wrong with how our system is set up. Of course, we've got to provide support to those who need it most, but everyone who can work should work, and that's what we're trying to achieve through this programme. Also remember as well that we are merging the assessments for PIP and the work capability assessment, so you only have to go through one assessment process, the movement to trained face-to-face assessors, so it's a better process as well.